So the next story I wanted to talk about was, a lot of people say, and I say this myself all the time, how government is so inefficient. And I want to go over to my good friend. Well, I don't know him, but I consider him my good friend because I listen to him literally all the time. It's kind of funny how I actually just said that off the top of my head, but it's funny how you listen to podcasters and I feel like I really know this person and he has no idea who I am. But I'll just say it anyway. My good friend Dave Smith, because I think that if I got to hang out with him, he'd like me and I'd like him. But he's talking about. I'll just say it, or I'll just play it. So let's share the screen.
How can they be so proficient at like distracting and stoking the culture war, and so seemingly inefficient at everything else? Like, which government is doing it? We talk nonstop about how inefficient government is, but the way that you've described it, they've masterfully manipulated us for the last, 30 decades, 40, 50?
I would think they're efficient at getting
I think they're very efficient. I think the government is inefficient model is based off of a faulty assumption. So when people say government's inefficient, it's almost like, well, look, they took over healthcare, but they're not delivering good healthcare at a reasonable price. And you're like, go look at Obamacare. The profits for the giant insurance companies skyrocketed.
Just not
they're
for us.
incredibly efficient. You're assuming
For the people
that
they
their
serve.
stated goal is their actual goal.
This is interesting.
They're the most efficient. Like, what were the Nazis?
Is that not such a good point? Right? Like, people think that government's inefficient, but, is government inefficient at what it's doing right now? I don't think so. I think government wants to tear us apart, and look at what we're doing. I think people at the top, never let a crisis go to waste. And, lots of people have said this, that the best way to tear down a country is from the inside. And the people in power know this. They know history. They're smart people. Some of them are dumb, but the people who are like really, I don't even know who it is, but the people who are like really pulling strings, those people are smart people and they know how to manipulate people. And to think that they just don't know what they're doing is just completely inaccurate. So it's not that they're inefficient. They just never have your interests in mind.
Nazis efficient at killing Jews? I mean,
This is interesting.
They're the most efficient. Like, what were the Nazis efficient at killing Jews? I mean, there's nothing more efficient than government. It's just always for evil.
Yeah.
Well said. There's nothing more efficient than government. It's just always for evil. And I'll just leave it at that. But if you haven't thought about that for a while, you're like, why does the government always suck at everything? Think about what their intended goal is. And then, are they actually sucking? Right? Because all the politicians keep getting wealthier and wealthier. And the Americans keep getting poorer and poorer. Is that like a crazy mistake? I would argue that common sense would say not.